It's very important to know about our history because this is one thing in the syllabus in Islamic colleges or seminaries that have written, somewhat about them. What I mean by that is that in most Islamic colleges we focus on studying and usul fiqh, tafsir, hadith, etc. And these are extremely important. These are the bases of Islam, not necessarily history. But history adds to it. What I mean adds to it? It puts everything in context. So you see how it is. So you see how the Khulafa was active. You see the Abbasids, the Umayyads, the Ottomans, the Mahmuds, how it is that they acted when it is that certain crises speak to them. And unfortunately, the Orientalists, or those who have plans regarding Islam, those who are Westerners, but study Islam in order to be capable Islam, they are very versed in terms of the history of Islam, and they try to misconstrue it. Some of them are honest and give a proper history of Islam, and some of them are extremely dishonest and try to skew Islam into an extremely violent, intolerant religion. And into a religion that makes it similar to like the Mongol, where it is that they just want in a village, kill everybody, kill cats, rats, human being, everything in the village, build it, and then throw the books in the river like what happened in Baghdad, for example. So what happens is that we as Muslims, we have to be equipped, of course, with Quran, with Sunnah, with what the pious predecessors believed and acted upon, but also we have to be equipped in terms of our history. So the first thing we have to look at is why do we study history? I want your input in terms of this. So why study history? I know all of us here, or most of us here, would have been in a period history class in school, and possibly slept through all the class in school. So now I'm a period history. Right? That's probably why the Imam has been constantly regarding teaching Islamic history, because that's a qualification. Yeah, the experience that we have with folk trees and folk tools and some folk also want to see the next year is that they find that history is useless, history is boring, is like a free period to go and take a nice nap, in the air condition, etc. Right? But why do we study history? I think first thing we have to understand. Why do we study it? Anybody?
Those who want to learn from the mistakes of the past and contempt to repeat that.
Right. So to learn from past mistakes. And this is in terms of us as human beings ourselves. And it is, of course, the Professor Rahman, he was he said, Kulu Banu Adam, Fatarun. That every son of Adam makes mistakes, right? So if it is that we don't learn from our past mistakes and we don't grow from it, what happens is that we are bound to repeat it again and again and again. And this goes with rulers of the world as well. If it is that they don't learn from the mistakes of others, they go to repeat it. For example, you will take it over the world just fine, and then they try to take over Moscow and Russia. And anybody knows if they try to take Moscow and Russia, you will tell us. Because as the winter comes in, the surprise comes, the troops going to start and everybody's going to die. And Napoleon tried it, Hitler tried it, we would have killed Israel. The only people to pass that exam was the Holocaust. But anyway, right, so if they don't learn from the past, if Hitler has built up Napoleon, don't invade Russia, he might have a dynasty and German dynasty. You don't know all those stuff, right? Alright, so let's talk past mistakes. And I said that is for us personally as well. If we make mistakes in the past, or there's sins, or there's procrastination, we have to learn what causes the sin and how it is that we can avoid it afterwards. Right? If it is that we realize that if it's the phone, if it's, just the games all day, if it's this, if it's that, if is causing us to procrastinate from worshiping Allah or seeking additional memorizing something from the book of Allah, we have to find ways to avoid that which would make us fall into the same sin or fall into the same trap. Right? Second thing, right? So into the compass mistake. Second thing, to proceed in the future with what? To proceed in the future with clarity of mind. Okay? So if we know our past, we could proceed better in our future. Although it is that the government within this lesson right now, what is happening in Gaza, what Netanyahu is doing, but they not learning their lesson that they could possibly be another world war, they could possibly be another world war, due to them not trying to stop the Zionists from trying to take over Syria, which is their goal to take over Syria, to take over Lebanon. It has no priority, they just look at this matter, as we see right now. The is a very useless organization at this point in time. Alright? And also, if it is that we go to our past, we cannot really proceed to go into our future. Okay? The third thing regarding the ministry. Anyone? Another very important factor to the ministry as well is that
all the sacrifice argument that we proceed before you are being correct and the foundation that we stand on, we think the way it came from.
Alright, very good. So knowledge of those who preceded us. Right? And especially when we're speaking about their achievements. This is very important because they try to make the Muslims look like barbarians. We just kind of took our countries and we impose Sharia law and just brutal. That's why we kind of paint Muslims, but the fact is that the Muslims, they have all the markets of an extremely advanced civilization, especially in the Abbasid period before the Muslims was invaded. So we have to know our past achievements as Muslims. We have to know our past achievements. And let me tell you something, right? In historiography, especially in Western historiography, you will find that Western European nations, they appraise their achievements and the achievements of other civilizations, whether it is the Mesoamerican civilizations like the Mayan and the Aztec civilizations, or, for example, the Islamic civilizations, or civilizations in Africa, India, China. They try to dominate all of these civilizations in order to appraise its own civilization. So this is extremely important because the colonization, and we will go through that in Islamic history, with colonization of the Western powers, we're speaking about Britain and France primarily, they try to appraise their achievements and make their civilization look like the pinnacle of human achievement, whereas they penetrated the achievements of all other civilizations worldwide. That is one of the effects of imperialism and colonization. Okay? So, to learn from past mistakes, to proceed to the future with clarity of mind, to have knowledge of those who preceded, knowing their achievements and also knowing their failures as well. Where it is that we fell short and where it is that we as Muslims, we can learn from their mistakes as well. But this part is extremely important. So that's generally why we study. Alright? Now, who is a Caliph? This is Khalifa. Alright? Khalifa. Right? Right? And Caliphate is Khilafah. Khalifa, I'm going to start to Baqarah, but the anglicized version is Caliph, and Khilafah is the Caliphate, right? So, basically, when you say a person is a Khalifa of a person, it means it is the one who precedes him, the one who comes after. So the word Khalifa means to come after. Right? So Khalifa this is linguistically, right? Linguistically, refers to one coming after the other. Right? So, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told the angels, in danger you will come out the Khalifa, verily I am bringing to thee is a Khalifa in the generations coming one after the next. By Sharon is not because translation for them, because by Sharon means like as a representative, a representative. It's more like generations coming one after the next. So, Khilafah this Caliphate. Khilafah. Right? So this is what is a Caliph. Right? And Caliphate. So Khilafah refers to succeeded, Muslim rulers coming one after the next between right? Until 1934 common era. Now these people usually say what they call a fantastic, right? But a little bit more complex than that, and we'll go to that misconception regarding the candidate for the Khilafah. Alright? But it's a little bit more complex. Alright? So the Caliph, or the word Caliph, comes from the word Khalafa, means to come one after the other. Linguistically refers to one coming after the other. And Khilafah refers to Muslim rulers coming one after the next between 11 after the Hijrah, I don't know the date of the Christian Bakery Alliance. And until 1934 common era. Okay, until 1934 common era. Alright, so the next one, what are the conditions? The conditions. So what are the conditions for the person to become a Catholic? Now, some of these conditions are lazim, compulsory, right? He's talking, and when we say Catholic, he's talking about we love all the Muslims here, right? We're talking about we love all every single Muslim language, right? So there are certain conditions that the Catholic has to have that he must have. If he doesn't, he is not going to do well. And there are some that are that it should complete, right? And he should have it, but if he doesn't have it, it doesn't mean that he should be removed to the list, right? So the first one was the first condition, number one, right? He has to be Muslim. Imagine the Caliphate Muslim being a Catholic. Number two. Right. So that's what we about to go to what is last. He has to be a man. Nobody is going to do. Say no and say. Say. Imagine that and say. Say. Alright? So he has to be a Muslim. They cannot be a Catholic. Right? He cannot be a Catholic. And when it is that we're speaking about a Catholic, because of course there are Muslims who say that they are Muslims, but they don't correct their orthodoxy. So they can be Caliphate. Can be, for example, a person who is raised in a person he is the of a person, for example, who doesn't believe in the Sunnah, who doesn't believe in the Quran, who believes that certain rules should be applied in this modern time. These kind of things, he's not a Muslim. A man, because you can be a woman, as the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, then you get a home succeed where our woman is there, supreme ruler. Number three, over the age of puberty, you can be a child. You can be Muslims. Right? That's possible. Number four, he has to be saved. He can be a man. Although people use, as you will see, people use around there, like the place of man. And it's some cases. Alright? But they have to be saved. Okay? Now, so these are what we call it. Oh, yeah, last one. This is the last one. We're talking about the word, huh? We're looking at the full Muslim word we're talking about. He has to be from the Quraysh. Quraysh. Yes, it will be from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That is why the Mahdi will be from Quraysh. He is the one who will establish the Caliphate. Well, maybe established before the Muhammad was best. But basically, he is from the Quraysh, from the descendants of Hassan, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, who's the descendants of Ali, who's the descendants of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So these are compulsory. Now, we're speaking about the word, I'm not speaking about different empires, which will be the So these are conditions or compulsory or obligatory conditions. Right. Then, when I say obligatory condition, what I mean by that is that if it is, if the Khalifa or a Caliph is not a Caliph without these conditions. Right? Muslim man only in the puberty state and given the courage. Okay? So the money will buy that day, right? So the evidence is still right, right? Alright. So these others are obligatory, but however, right, they are, if it is a person doesn't have them, which they should have, but if they don't have them, it doesn't mean it legitimizes them being irrelevant Muslims. Okay? So number 6 would be, as I mentioned, knowledgeable. Of the Sharia. Right? He shouldn't be a person who is not knowledgeable of the Sharia. However, if he's ignorant, he should have people around him who understand the Sharia and another man and respect for him. However, if he's ignorant of the Sharia, he shouldn't be in that place. However, it doesn't delegitimize him being the ruler of the Muslims. Right? Number 7, piety. Right? Again, he should be pious. Right? I'll put it 8, just, and 9, wicked. Right? Right. Very great. Right? So, he should be pious. He should be a person who is worshipful. He should be a person who worships someone subhanahu wa ta'ala and cares about subhanahu wa ta'ala. He should also be a person who is just, who establishes justice in the land. He should be a person who is oppressive. And he should be a person who is brave in order to establish jihad. He should be a person who is tolerant. But these 4 are obligatory conditions, but they don't delegitimize a person from being a Muslim ruler or Amir. Alright? Because there are several academic purposes of our which clarify that the Torah or the obedience is with every ruler, whether he is righteous or wicked. Several academic arguments. And then it's all so whether he is pious or wicked, whether he is just or unjust, basically, you still have to obey in that which is good or evil, or in everything. And that which is good. And that which is evil, you want to obey the Khalifa. So, for example, some people give an example that is kind of ridiculous. If the Khalifa is coming to carry and go to the Jew person, you have the right to run, to get outside. I mean, that's only common sense. Right? That's only common sense. Right? And that's the right? So, it doesn't mean that if it is that the Khalifa is coming to do some oppression by you, that they say, well, some of us come up with something, run. And you find that from the imams of the past that if it is that the usually Khalifa was looking for them, sometimes they will hide them and pass it. Because they know that the Khalifa was looking for them. And this happened with Imam Al-Barbahari or Qutullah that the Khalifa was looking for them because some of the people and the young scholars would go to the Khalifa at the time and tell them all kinds of things about Barbahari. And he ended up running all over the place, all over in different houses, and he died in a slave woman's house. He died in a slave woman's house, and it was reported that several people came, they didn't know who they were, and let's disappear. So it was angels who prayed for his body. Okay? So even if it is that the Khalifa is a wicked one, he's a coward, he's unjust and he's ignorant, it doesn't take away the fact that he has to be followed. It doesn't take away the fact that he has to be followed. Alright? And that which is good, not in that which is evil. So the last thing, okay, so now, so the last thing we have is misconception regarding the Caliphate. So the first one, it wasn't this misconception, and which one?
Caliphate lasted in 1934.
Alright, so the Caliphate lasted in 1934. This is generally what people say, but the Khilafah was every 30 years. Right? Now when we say Caliphate, let me use our lingo or our statements. We usually mean that they had worldwide empires, not so. We usually mean that. And that they ruled in Muslim world, etc. Like that. Okay? But the Khilafah really lasted 30 years. So the first one is that the Khilafah, what's that, the Caliphate? The very accepted. The Caliphate lasted for 13 years. And they went to. And they went. Assad ibn Ali. Who gave it up? Right? Who gave it up to Muawiyah? And Muawiyah was the first king. Right? So from there, you had empires based upon hereditary. Now the Khalifa is chosen by 2 ways. How are they chosen? Shura. So in the case of Abu Bakr, and in the case of Umar, they were chosen via Shura, right? And then via consensus. Or they could be selected from the previous Khalifa. So the previous Khalifa could say, okay, this is my Khalifa, but this is the one who's coming after. These 2 ways. The Caliphate is not a hereditary position. So it's not passed on from father to son to grandson to great and something like that. Now what happened from the time of Muawiyah until the time of the Ottomans, basically it was that. It's passed from father to son to grandson to great grandson, like that. Until that empire was done over with, and then the next empire come and they did the same thing, and then the same thing, and then the same thing. Alright? So in reality, if we were to look at it according to how Khalifa was selected, it would be only for 30 years, because we are selected either by Shura, either by mutual consensus among the companions, or mutual consensus of Muslims, or via one taken up the situation. Right, so that's number 1. So, that way, inshallah, number 2. What is that? And that is not true. So for the second one, well, this is a bit complex, right? So you had the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then you had the Khulafa Rashidun al-Hasan, and then you had Muawiyah. Okay? So you had what you call the Umayyads, or the Dawlatul Umayyah. Right? With the Abbasids, you have the separation from it. Because what happens, as we would see in Inshallah Ta'ala, the rise of the Abbasids and the fall of the Umayyads, when the Abbasids came into power, they killed every single one from that family. Like who would be descendants of Muawiyah, who could be a threat to the world. And one man escaped. It was Abdul Rahman. He ended up setting up his own kingdom in Spain. Right? So he set up an Umayyad dynasty in Spain, while the rest of the world was Abbasid. So that was the first split. Right? And then other people came, the Fatimids came, who were Rafida Shina. They came and they took a big part of North Africa. And then all kinds of stuff started to happen. So everybody was basically trying to grab a little piece for themselves, and sometimes we noticed that the Abbasid Caliph was absent, was MIA, missing in action. You would find that others would step up. So for example, when it is that they were missing in action regarding the Crusades, we found that the Ayyubids and the Salahuddin Ayyubi, these people, they ended up taking that, filling that gap. And when it is that the Abbasids were conquered in between, you had the Mamluks, who were basically slaves. Right, Berbers was a slave, for example. They were basically slave soldiers who ended up being the rulers of what they call Bilal Shah, because they are the ones spiritually Mongols. So the Muslim world, you can say, loosely. So the Muslim world was united under one ruler until the fall of the Umayyad dynasty. That's what it is.
DY
Dynasty.
dynasty.
Dynasty. Right. So it's very important to know that. So it's not like the Muslim world was what everybody was trying to carve out. And inshallah ta'ala, possibly another time, because I'm not going to go into details in what we see in this session, I will do some, but not plenty. You will see that in the years of the Crusades, when the Christians were coming and taking Palestine, you will see the kind of madness that was happening in the Muslim world. Right? It is that the other group called the assassins or the Hashashin, because it's a smoke hashish. And these used to come up and assassinate rulers just like that for no reason. They were very, honestly, they were very unique, to put it very mildly. They used to smoke a lot of hashish. They believed that their part of where they were living was Jannah and paradise. So they had woods, they had hashish, they had rum, they had a woman, and everywhere outside was Jannah. That's what the effects of smoke, the hashish. Right? So you'll find all kinds of craziness in the key, right? But you always find that the Muslim world rose like a phoenix, right? So you find that number one, you had the Crusades with the Crusaders taking Jerusalem. In between, you have all kinds of disunity and craziness happening. And then our subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the lesson Salahuddin Ayyubi, and Islam was again like a phoenix. It was again. SubhanAllah. Basically out of nowhere. But it's a lot of work behind it. And then with the Mongol war, where it is that they came and they attacked Samarkand, they attacked everyone basically, right? So they can say that the attack was Western Europe because it didn't reach there. But they attacked China, they attacked Japan, they attacked the whole Middle East. They were looking for North Africa, but the Mamluks, who were slave soldiers, they stopped the Mongols from going into North Africa. So you find that Islam, in with all the craziness that was happening, or that has happened through all the eras, is that Islam always goes up after that. You find other empires and with other religions, etc., that will be a shadow of itself. There will be nothing after. But Islam, and whenever Islam is down to the ground, You know, like in boxing, for example, you feel that they don't for the count, they rise up and they don't for the opponent. That is how it is. Right? As will happen again in Charlotte. Number 3, is it in what? Right. This is a main doubt put forward by the Shia. That Abu Bakr Siddiq was not singled out by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Right? Now the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this is another segment, he didn't point out a particular person to be Caliphate after him, to be the ruler after him. But everybody knew, or kind of knew, that Abu Bakr Siddiq was the man after him. Because we always knew that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was Abu Bakr Siddiq, or sorry, that Abu Bakr Siddiq was also the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He is mentioned in the Quran, right? Where is that they went in the cave together and from the Mushrikeen, where is it Abu Bakr Siddiq? He didn't hurt when it is that all the Mushrikeen was saying that he's a liar. That is during Islam and Raj. And the likes of this standing up in the fitan, etc. like that. So this is a major one put forward by the Rafida Shia. That Abu Bakr Siddiq is an illegitimate caliph because he was not directly selected by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But what do we say to that? There are 2 ways of selection. Number 1, that he could actually say that so and so is the caliph, or he could be selected by Shura. Right? So we say that Abu Bakr Siddiq was selected by Shura. Right? Mutual consultation. Not democratic election. Mutual consultation from those known in society for their piety and correct understanding. Right? So that is one of the ways for Khalifa to be selected. That he was selected by Shura. All the companions agreed. Even Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu and Sufyan al-Bukhari, he agreed to give bay'ah to Abu Bakr Siddiq, although this is his bay'ah came late, or especially when it came late, but he agreed to give that allegiance to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And he clarified also that he was one who was most loved by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So these are very important factors. This is why we have to do history as well. Because what we see today, you know, in terms of this unity of the Muslim world, you see people getting slaughtered, you see people from Pakistan getting slaughtered, and the Uyghurs getting oppressed in China, etc. It's not anything entirely new. It's something that has been happening, or has happened in eras before. It has happened. So it's not something that is novel, that is happening only in this century. It has happened before. But what will happen, inshallah, is that Islam is going to rise again, as the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He promised. He promised that. Right? So it's not that what is happening in terms of disunity, in terms of people not joining together and having people to repel these forces, etc. It's not that it didn't happen before, it did happen before. Even when the Abbasid Caliphate was in charge in the time of the Crusades, they were missing in action. They simply were not there, they were missing in Islam. Right? So it happy. But what will happen afterwards is that our Subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he promised to safeguard this religion, to safeguard the identity of the religion, and to safeguard the Muslims. Islam is Allah in a big way. And Allah Ta'ala, I feel that after all of this, I mean, that's this whole matter with Gaza, Netanyahu, and Israel, and the state, you see Islam rising up in the right, because it can. Because the continue is unsustainable, and if you really look at it, you can tell the history now. A little bit of it. If you really look at it, the age of colonialism by Western forces was finished in 1945. It was done. Hitler ravaged them. Understand? Hitler was bad, but somewhat he was good at the same time. People might get a problem with that statement. He was bad, yeah, he was bad, but he was somewhat good at the same time, and he knew how the Jews used to behave, and we see the behavior right now. They basically broadcasting a genocide and saying that they want to commit genocide and want to take over Muslim countries. They are saying that all over the place. So that knew how they acted, who they were, etc. like that, right? So he was bad, but in some aspects he was right. So basically what it is that Hitler, he was taking Poland, and the British Prime Minister came and said, when I was a little boy, it's exactly this way, so funny. When I was a little boy, my mother told me, if you feel that this you don't succeed, try again. I said, Lord, you try too much, right? Because basically you can get Hitler to stop advancing. So these were negotiations in 1930. So it took Poland, so they took other countries, then he took France. And then after France, he was like, okay, it's time to go to England. Bombs England, to smithereens, bombs it. Even my uncle who went there in the 1950s, he said that England was still bombed up. As West Indian workers who went to England and basically were back England. So the whole thing is that Hitler ravaged England and France so much that they had to give up all their territories to Commons, the South. They gave up India, which was like the crown jewel. India was going to make all their money. They gave up India, they gave up all the African colonies, they gave us up and said, no, we can't afford to do this anymore. Same thing with France. So France and England is done. The last one is who? Tell me.
Russia?
No, Russia's already. Russia already had a good with us. With more Western power. Russia not really looking to expand. When they're looking to expand to get to the Soviet territory. Somewhat, but the last Western imperial powers were not really imperial. But the last Western expansionist power, who said that they're not really expansionists, United States of America. That is the last domino to fall. Once they fall, it's done. It's over. And they fall as imminent in Charlotte. They basically done. Because if you really look, right now, they are the donkeys of the Zionists. Whatever the Zionists say, I have a book, right? The Zionist Lobby in the United States, written in 2007. And it lays out exactly, this is in 2007, after the year, right, which happened in 2001. And it lays out the Zionist plan, and it's as if it's reporting as to what the Zionists are doing right now. Same thing. That it will start at Gaza, it will start at Syria, they want Gaza, Syria, and then they want Iraq. That's what they want. Understand? So, this is their mindset. And America is lucky that they go to rally, because if they get into a conflict, then they are both going to Congress and beg and cry and get a lot of money to continue the genocide. And Britain going to be the cheerleader, the pom-poms or something. Yeah. Because Britain can do nothing right now. Right? So this is what is happening in the world right now. And soon they're going to fall like a bigger cast because at the end of the day, what Netanyahu is doing is not sustainable. So it's either it is that after a while, and inshallah, I mean, I'm making that to do after this and Netanyahu gets assassinated. I mean, as a Muslim, I pray that he gets assassinated, I'm saying that to you. He's a man now. Right? So hopefully he gets assassinated, and when they sit at that negotiating table, it's done. The Arab countries will be solvent at that negotiating table. They just waited for that. Right? If they saw Anthony Blinken called Mohammed bin Salman as photograph, because he said no normalization unless a Palestinian state is there. Full stop. Right? So either that, or Netanyahu is going to try to continue to save his political career by fighting war, and that is not sustainable either. Because how much weapons and how much troops you will send, and they want to send American troops through, and the Americans are saying, no, we're not sending boys anymore. That's done. So how much can you really sustain it? Can't sustain it for a long years. So inshallah, Islam is on the rise. And when it comes back on the rise, you will power up your brain, everything that is happening in the world, inshallah. And you see besides a lot of people that are calling Muslims in the US, that the Muslims have the highest amount of economic power, or one of the Israeli highest as a bloc, has a lot of economic power worldwide. So it's going to be that address that we just have to wait and see inshallah ta'ala. I'll make a lot of dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep the Palestinian people safe, to make sure and keep the people in the Middle East safe, and to get Netanyahu assassinated. I think yeah, that's how it goes. Because inshallah ta'ala. No questions? Anything you want to clarify?
Sure. Was there an agreement amongst England, American, Israel in the times?
There's agreement with America and Israel?
Yeah, power-wise.
Now what happens is that you have a few factors to it. In terms of, okay, Israel is like a Western state in the Middle East.
Mini White House.
Like a mini White House. But now the White House is like a mini Tel Aviv because the Jews basically control them. Right? So basically that is their colonial project from the time of Britain to now. Right? When Israel will be letter, imagine a man, one man could write a letter saying he wants a whole place in the Middle East. So should be a lot of power that man had in England. A man could write a letter to the King of England, the Prime Minister of England, saying, I will stop in the Middle East, and he gets it. That should be the amount of power they have. Right? So America basically is the same thing. America basically is the same thing. They have the extremist Christians, the far-right Christians, who say that the Zionists are our brothers. Now, if you already explore the creed of the American Christians, is kind of similar to what we believe will happen here in times. That's the odd thing. So they believe that the Jews will be gathered in Jerusalem for what they call the rapture. Even Jesus will come and kill all of them. We believe that Jesus will kill all of them too, so it's like, so what's the difference? Right? But what they say is that, okay, we have to establish the state of Israel and help them and aid them. So when Jesus comes, he will suffer them. That's basically what they say. Right? It has an interesting documentary on Vice News where it is that the person interviewed some American pastors. And I was like, well, wait, it's the same thing. But these are things that are comes down. That the army is there. That in the trees and the schools will say, oh, Muslim, they're moving and they go on for them. So what is the real difference? The difference is that they try to get them into the land, and we try to get them out. That's the whole difference. That's it. But in terms of what would happen, it's the same thing. What would happen is the same thing. So you have that factor. Then you have the factor of a lot of the finances in America, a lot of the economy in America is controlled by the Jews. Right? Because manufacturers, most of them are Jews, Hollywood, you know, music industry, Central Bank, yeah. Russians, they own the Federal Reserve, they own your money. Right? And then on top of that, you have a lot of these American officials who are pedophiles and who went to Epstein's Island and did what they did with children. Yeah. So the Jewish Mossad, the Jewish Secret Service, they have all the files in them. That's why all of a sudden they arrest Epstein them. Or they can't find the files, but they have the files and they hide it. Because they have the who, this one, that one, all of them are going to be implicated in this thing. So you can say more or less, America is not any land of be free, it's the land of the donkey of people, it's the donkey of people. That's what it is. Because America was a project seeking freedom from England. Right, what England was taxing them, what overtaxing them after the, what they call the French War. Huh? Boston Tea Party, I had that as well. You had the Boston Massacre in South America, which was really a massacre because 5 people were killed at the war, it was a massacre. So it's like every village was a massacre. 5 people get killed in the whole Boston Massacre. 5 as a massacre. Right? So there was an exercise in freedom from colonial power. Right? And of course they were free reasons and whatever, right? But basically now, they're basically owned by Israel. And they don't make a move, they don't do anything, and they could come on the podium and condemn this and condemn that, but they have to be transcended to the masters. So Israel is colonizing America and England. That's what's going on right now. You know, so, at the end of the day, America is basically born as a power, and Israel as well is going to be born as a power also, after this whole thing. After all the last settlers. Any other questions? No other questions? Any clarification anybody wants from this? I'll just summarize it and we'll get the questions and conclude what's the message. Alright, so we went through why study history. Right, this is a past mistakes to proceed in the future of time in mind, and to get those who preceded. Number 2, what is the caliphate? Right? And we say that a caliphate is what comes after the next. And the caliphate refers to Muslim rulers coming one after the next, the Iran, after the Hitler in 24 CE. I will interpret that, according to the story. According to historians, because the civil caliphate is a worldwide rulership in other words then. Right? But otherwise, it didn't really have worldwide rulership as a caliphate in the time of the Abbasids. Conditions: Muslim man over the age of 50 and flourishing. That's what we worldwide caliphate. As for if it is a person has an empire, this one is not necessary. Knowledgeable of the Sharia, piety, just bravery, and he has to be just and great Muslim. These are not obligatory conditions. However, if the person doesn't fulfill these conditions, it doesn't take him away from being a Muslim in general. Right? Misconceptions. Right? The caliphate lasted for 30 years, but the first one is that the caliphate, right, so answers to the misconceptions. answers to misconceptions. Right. Okay. So the first one was the Caliphate lasted in 1924. Right? And we said that the Caliphate lasted for 30 years until the passage of Ali. And Hassan ibn Ali is one of the youths of Al-Jannah. He's the head of the youths of Al-Jannah. And he gave it up to Muhammad. And this is a great thing. He had the leadership of the Muslim world and he said, "We're going to take it." Right? Alhamdulillah. Second is that the Muslim world was united in 1924. I believe that is incorrect. It was united under one ruler until the fall of the Umayyad dynasty. And this is why you had the Sokoto Caliphate, you had Nigeria, you had the Mali, and the Songhai empires in Africa, you have the Mughal dynasty in India, right? You have the Fatimids, you have the Umayyads, you have the Abbasids, you have the Ayyubids, you have the Mamluks, you have all these people. So it's not like the whole Muslim world was united under one, but until 1924, right? But it's basically happened until the Umayyad, until the fall of the Umayyad dynasty and the rest of the Abbasids. Okay? But what happened is that Muslims, because of the fact that Muslims had a certain amount of power, and the certain amount of power, until that time, that is what they call these different empires, or what they are empires, they call them countries. And number three, that Abu Bakr Siddiq wasn't legitimate because he wasn't directly selected by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, but he said that he was selected by Shura, and by Ijma, by consensus of the companions, and this is one of the ways that Caliph could actually be selected, and the only is where he is directly selected. Right. So we start with the job. If there are any more questions, so
There is a going around what everybody is signing up with your email and WhatsApp. We're going to create a WhatsApp group for this particular class. We have this. This class will be going on for a little while.
That's something that that basically I'm going to do a summarize it. If I put it in the detail, I'll take it about 4 years. So I'm going to do a summarize it of each one. Right? The main events, like the personalities involved in the main events, and before them, the different kind of places, etc. like that. And also, I was going to focus on that, because if I also focus on every single one, but some is all of this one, that one, right? There was particular, right? There's some issues very almost speaking about 1,300 years of strong relationship with the people over the capacity. So that 1,500 years cannot be covered properly in the system, it cannot be covered properly in a few sessions. Right? So that's why basically these are basically a summary of Abu Bakr Siddiq, Omar, Ali, the Umayyads, the Abbasids. The person who should every single Umayyad as well. That's what I think very well. Right? But the main personalities, is the one that so the first point of the Crusades, the Mongol Invasion, also I want to add colonialism and imperialism and its effect on the Muslims, like in terms of like after 1924, colonialism and imperialism and its effect on the Muslims in terms of how the Muslim viewers regarding how it is that Islam should rise up. Because after that they had the rise of our nationalism, because they tried to take the route of the Europeans. They took up having the nation states and thereby supporting the nation state instead of supporting Yeah, of course, the Ottomans is a big part of the decision. They are the longest, or one of the longer empires for 650 years. So they go to their long part of it, very important. And it's very important to know the rise of the Ottomans and the fall of the Ottomans and what really happened, because some people they say, well, the Ottomans was good, the British Republic knocked over, came and they have to like that. There are people who were who were from the empire, right? And I'll show you this thing before. The Muhammad Ali Pasha, he's the founder of modern Egypt. He split from the Ottoman Empire, and he was actually wanted Constantinople, he was going to take over the Ottoman Empire for himself. And in Istanbul, they did a deal with him and said, okay, put Egypt for yourself. Right? That's what they did. So people in the Ottoman Empire, they was to the Ottoman Empire because everybody wanted to peace for themselves. So and the colonialism in terms of Napoleon, and especially the era of Napoleon, so it's all these things. So I want to go through that part because it's very important to know the effect of colonialism and to look how it affected the Muslim countries, which I don't have to no, that can be this one session. At the time, the authors are nationalism, communism, the Black Party, these kind of things. He was seen as a kind of a good but because of his piety and righteousness, and he is the one who called for the Sunnah to be written down. Still has documents from his time, though it is that he spoke to Imam Zuhri, saying that he feared that Muhammad would disappear. And from his time, that is when the Ahadith started to be the time after the scholars of the Tabi'in, who was scholars, was a Arab scholar. And he was from the most pious ones, although my other was another more ones.
What is our standard in Muslim regarding what is something like small islands?
But regarding what happened in Gaza, what's supposed to happen? The idea that's supposed to happen, that's speaking about the idea there, right? Is that the Muslims supposed to gather and fight the Zionists and expel them from the country. That is what's supposed to happen, right? Of course, the situation is not complicated than that, right? Far more complicated than that right now, because they have too many parties playing at the same time and everybody has to do it.
The Zionists is prepared to come to rule in Palestine?
Yes. They were telling basically Netanyahu, kind of said they are extreme Zionists. I don't think Netanyahu is like atheist, so I don't really know what I'm doing. These Zionists crazy. It's like, you're speaking, I mean, I'm on Twitter, so once in a while, let's go to the show that's not recreation. Because they talk about history, there's about history now. So you find some Zionists, so they speak about the Muslims in a barbaric manner, and they will speak about, for example, being an exemplary colonial power. The Zionists and bots who are like Hindu from India, right? Like Hindu nationalists from India. So once in a while, there's group, this show, so what happens is that you'll find that there are plenty of them who are atheists. They don't believe in God, but they believe that God gave them
Dila.
I say, so you believe, oh sorry, you don't believe that God gave you that other past, that you believe that you gave it, but you don't believe that that we exist. And just leave and then talk about it. That's the way that's the way I feel sometimes. Let's give them the history and I do sometimes, you know, and you know, usually history I know to just that's was resident.
Oh, okay.
No, Hassan is that's Hassan. Hassan is just do that point. I just do it, so that's do it. So that's why, you know, we live in a free time. I said, no. I said, like, it's just crowd, right? And just bust it. Just keep it. Yeah, I got it. You know? So once in a while, it's good to let you know. And you see there, because everything you see, Twitter, everybody expresses what they intend on Twitter. Whether it's Netanyahu, whether it's Trump, whether it's whoever. So it's good to see what they're really thinking. And with social media now, everybody, you know, nobody can really pass the chest at this one. Everybody is saying, okay, but we'll take it all about, we want to do this, we want to do that. You know, so basically, it's always, so for example, like one of the classic, they say that one would colonize Palestine, this and that, and whatever else, right? So I said, yes, they can. So I said, yes, they can. Let's Palestine, you know, they want to do Jerusalem, they built Masjid al-Aqsa, and they want to have people, and you need Makarabs that for you, will tag the Muslims for that. Right? So, you know, an ex-person might look, for example, that the Crusades who had just come to the war. I say you realize that more Christians were killed by the Muslims, right? So you realize that Orthodox Christians, and the Crusaders sacked Constantinople before the Crusade, man. They sacked Constantinople, raped women, killed a set of people, and that was the capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, where Orthodox Christianity was, that was set up Orthodox Christianity, and they basically sacked it. So it's like, so if it is that you want to go back to kill the Christians, have a nice Christian. So sometimes it's not just for historical fun. This is how to do sometimes, I think so. Yeah, that's sometimes. Just to busy history now. Just to keep the sharp on historical knowledge. Because what we're going to take it is easy. I don't understand. But I mean, in terms of Gaza, you know, what's the man who was bring the people of Gaza, and a lot of stuff, that we want a successful life. I want to have a successful life. You know, as what happened in the time of the Crusaders, so that we came and took it back. And as what happened in the time of the Mongols, where it is that the Bibles were able to repel them from Damascus and Sham. So eventually, you know, this type of barbaric behavior by Israel, this is not sustainable in any form of fashion. They don't have the tools to do it, like for the Germans to do, they don't want for example, whatnot. They have to depend on the United States. I was so about that, they spoke about that. So he said, right, we're not adding Israel too, while Mexico too, but that will be one of it, you know, that submission and poverty has been removed from them, and they have gotten the hand of our subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, going back and moving to I don't have to people, illa bi hadal min Allah wa hadal min Allah. Right? That wherever they go, they will be humiliated, except with a rule from Allah or a rule from the people. So America, you remember what? If America goes back to them, they don't. Right? So they have no power like that. So,
was the economy is going down in America, right? The economy is going down.
yeah, America right now is like about 15% of the world GDP because domestic product is American business done. There was 40 or 50% in the 60s and the 70s. Now it's nothing virtually, it's nothing virtually. So America is in a downward spiral, right? And also, because of the oppressiveness of what right? So we pray for that too. Oh, I mean, what's that stuff?
What?
Yeah, it's scarce stuff, independent stuff. It's the same thing. Because again, that is their last group of power. So basically, if they are from like their business, as a get they have to release, they get them from that to the organization, right? And then again, Israel, as I said, America is like the donkey. So whenever they start what's representing their money, they get that. After we see what happens, or else the things will happen in America. People will get assassinated and decide to drugs. Buildings might go up and things like that. Everybody's saying that the only use them at some bachelor's degrees outside the nation on 9/11. So why do they dance it? Because we listen to music. Right? So there's a bunch of things that happen that we have to question and look at. Wrong stuff. All right,